Okay, so you sent over a really interesting mix of articles about what we can expect in 2025.
Yeah.
We're going to deep dive into the future of work.
Mm.
What's up with teens these days?
Oh, yeah.
And even touch on some fresh strategies for actually sticking to your goals this time around,
Oh, I like that.
for New Year's.
Yes.
So are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, from AI changing everything about the workplace
Right.
to Gen Z maybe ditching their smartphones.
Uh-huh.
And let's not forget those resolutions we're all probably making.
Yeah.
I am so excited to dig in.
Me too.
Why don't we start with that Forbes article on workplace trends?
Okay, so the 16 trends set to disrupt workplaces in 2025. It's
Yeah,
a hefty title.
it is.
And one of the things it immediately highlights is this growing desire for customized work hours.
Yeah, that jumped out at me too.
Yeah,
It makes sense though, doesn't it?
it does.
With remote and hybrid work becoming so common,
Right.
people are craving more flexibility and control over their schedules.
Absolutely.
Right.
The traditional 9 to 5 is becoming more of a relic of the past.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is that this shift is also forcing companies to rethink how they measure productivity
Right.
and success.
Hmm.
It's no longer just about hours logged, but about output and results.
Okay, so work-life balance is clearly a big deal.
Big deal.
But what about the technology side of things?
Yeah.
The article talks a lot about AI, and to be honest, it's a little intimidating.
It's true. AI is poised to make a huge impact on the workplace.
Yeah.
But instead of fearing it,
Okay.
the article emphasizes the importance of individual experimentation
Aye.
with AI.
So like getting to know it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about empowering employees at all levels to explore these tools and discover how they can be used to enhance their work.
So it's not about robots taking over,
Yeah.
but more about humans and AI working together.
Exactly.
Got it.
One expert in the article uses a bow and arrow analogy
Oh.
to describe this. They argue that we need to first pull back from the daily chaos, focus on what AI can do,
Okay.
and then carefully aim for a specific impact.
I like that.
Yeah.
So instead of just randomly throwing AI at every problem,
Right.
we need to be strategic about how we use it.
Exactly.
But how do we even begin to pull back and figure out where AI fits in?
Well, think about it like this. Every job has repetitive tasks,
Hmm.
data analysis, or even creative brainstorming that could be enhanced by AI tools.
Okay.
What the article suggests is encouraging employees to explore these tools,
Right.
experiment with them within their roles,
Okay.
and then share those findings across the organization.
That's a really interesting approach. It's
Yeah.
like turning everyone into an AI innovator
Yes,
in a way.
exactly.
But it sounds like this would require a huge shift in company culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the article points to another major trend, AI-powered decision-making.
Okay.
This is going to change how leaders lead. Imagine having access to real-time data analysis and predictive modeling to inform your decisions.
That sounds powerful, but also a little scary.
It can be.
What if we become too reliant on AI
Right.
and lose our own ability to think critically
Uh-huh.
and make judgment calls?
It's a valid concern, and it highlights the need for strong leadership.
Yeah.
The question is, will leaders be ready to adapt?
Right.
Can they effectively collaborate with AI systems while still retaining their human intuition and ethical compass?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
This is where upskilling and training become crucial, right?
Absolutely.
Not just for tech skills,
Right.
but for critical thinking,
Mm.
communication, and ethical decision-making.
All those soft skills that sometimes get overlooked.
Okay, so it's like we need a whole new set of skills for the AI age.
We do.
It sounds like the workplace is going to be a very different place in 2025.
It will be, and the article is pretty clear that there will be challenges.
Okay.
One of the biggest concerns is maintaining employee engagement. In this rapidly evolving environment,
Okay.
think about it.
Okay.
If your job is constantly changing because of AI,
Yeah.
how do you stay motivated and
Mm.
connected to your work?
Right, because all the technology in the world won't matter if people are feeling lost and disengaged.
Exactly.
What's the solution there?
Well, the article argues that companies need to focus on building a strong culture, even more so than before.
Okay.
This means investing in employee well-being, providing opportunities for professional development,
Mm-hmm.
and fostering a sense of purpose and belonging.
Okay, so those things are going to be more important than ever.
Yes, definitely.
It sounds like the future of work is about finding the right balance between embracing AI
Yes,
and empowering the human workforce.
you got it.
But hey, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about what the younger generation is up to.
Okay.
I'm always fascinated by teen trends.
Me too.
You sent over this article, 6 Trends Your Teen Will Be Into in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely paints a fascinating picture of Gen Z's evolving world.
It does. It does.
Okay, first up, wellness.
Okay.
The article makes it sound like teens are more stressed than ever
Mm-hmm.
and turning to things like mindfulness apps
Yes.
and elaborate skincare routines.
It's true. And it's not just a superficial trend.
Okay.
Teens today are facing unique pressures.
Oh, yeah.
From social media comparisons to academic anxieties
Yeah.
and even climate change concerns.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
When you put it that way,
Yeah.
it makes sense that they'd be seeking out tools and techniques to manage their stress and well-being.
They are.
But are mindfulness apps really the answer?
That's a good question.
I mean, isn't it ironic that they're using technology to disconnect from technology?
It is a bit paradoxical, isn't it?
It is.
But I think it speaks to their resourcefulness
Okay.
and desire to take control of their mental health.
Okay.
And it's not just about disconnecting.
Well,
The article also highlights the growing popularity of self-care apps that gamify the whole experience.
gamifying self-care.
Yes.
What does that even look like?
Well, take the app Finch, for example.
Okay.
By completing self-care tasks,
Uh-huh.
like journaling or going for a walk,
Okay.
users nurture a virtual pet bird.
What?
It's a fun and engaging way to build healthy habits.
Okay, I have to admit that's kind of clever.
Yeah, it is.
But I wonder, is it really teaching them valuable skills?
Right?
Or just creating another form of digital dependence?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that the article doesn't really answer.
It is something to think about.
It is something to think about.
Yeah, is this a step towards positive behavioral change, or are we just slapping a tech Band-Aid on a larger societal issue?
It's hard to say.
Okay, let's move on to social media.
Okay.
The article paints a pretty complicated picture of teens' relationship with the online world.
It does.
Yeah.
On one hand, we're seeing a growing trend of teens reaching peak online saturation
Okay.
and choosing to ditch their smartphones altogether
Really?
in favor of simpler, dumb phones.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Like going back to flip phones?
Back to the basics.
I guess it makes sense if they're feeling overwhelmed by social media
Right.
and the constant pressure to be connected.
Absolutely.
But what about all the benefits of technology?
Yeah.
Like staying in touch with friends and accessing information.
That's the counter argument, right?
Yeah.
Technology is a powerful tool for communication and learning,
Right.
but some teens are choosing to prioritize real-world interactions
Okay.
and disconnect from the digital noise.
It's about finding that balance.
It is. It's about finding that balance.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
So it's not about demonizing technology, but about being more mindful of how we use it.
exactly.
Okay.
Now, for the teens who are still actively engaged online,
Right.
the article predicts that TikTok Shop is about to explode in popularity.
Hmm.
Imagine being able to buy anything you see on TikTok
Wow.
directly through the app, influenced by your favorite creators.
Wow, that's going to be a game changer for e-commerce.
It will be.
But I can also see the potential for problems,
Right.
especially with scams becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The article stresses the importance of parental awareness regarding online scams
Mm-hmm.
and the need to educate teens about responsible digital behavior.
Yeah.
That's key.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
Teens have access to incredible opportunities and information online,
Yes,
but they also need to be savvy and cautious.
they do.
Speaking of online platforms, what about that potential TikTok ban that everyone's talking about?
Oh, right.
Will that really happen?
It's hard to say for sure, but the article suggests that if TikTok does get banned,
Yeah.
other visually driven platforms like Lemonade are ready to step in and fill the void.
So even if TikTok disappears, the trends it's driving, like short-form video content and influencer marketing, are probably here to stay.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's less about the specific platform and more about the underlying cultural shifts. And speaking of shifts, let's talk about another fascinating aspect of teen culture. Their buying power.
Okay. Yeah.
According to Greenlight's 2024 data, teens spent over $2 billion last year.
Wow, that's a lot of spending power.
It is.
What are they spending all that money on?
Well, the usual suspects are there. Amazon, DoorDash, Target, Sephora.
Yeah.
Teens are clearly comfortable with online shopping and value convenience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're also spending on experiences like concerts, amusement parks, and of course, gaming.
Gaming is huge.
It is, it is.
It sounds like the teen market is a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
But here's what I find really interesting. The article mentions that teen savings and investments are also on the rise.
Yes, and I think that's a very positive trend.
It is.
It suggests that while teens are enjoying their spending power,
Mm,
they're also thinking about their future.
yeah,
They're saving for college, cars, vacations, and even investing in the stock market.
that's great to see that they're developing financial literacy and planning for their long-term goals.
And planning for their long-term goals.
And did you see that they donated over $8 million to charity last year?
I did.
That's amazing.
It is.
It shows that amidst their consumerism, teens are also developing a sense of social responsibility
Right.
and giving back to causes they care about.
They are, they are.
So we've got teens who are mindful,
Uh-huh.
financially savvy,
Mm-hmm.
and socially conscious.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're defying some of those negative stereotypes about Gen Z.
I think so too.
They're a complex and multifaceted generation,
They are.
and it's fascinating to see how they're shaping the world around them.
Absolutely.
Now, before we move on to goal setting, I have to ask, what about fashion?
Oh, yes.
The article mentions some pretty interesting trends emerging for 2025.
Teen fashion is always evolving.
It is.
Stitch Fix predicts that wide-leg styles, animal prints, and the color purple will be big in 2025.
Yeah.
We're also seeing a resurgence of low-rise styles, much to the delight of 90s kids, I'm sure.
I have to admit, I'm not sure how I feel about low-rise jeans making a comeback.
Yeah.
But I guess what goes around comes around in fashion.
It does, it does.
And what about the influence of celebrities?
Oh, of course.
The article mentions Taylor Swift and Hailey Bieber as style icons for Gen Z.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Taylor Swift's influence is undeniable, particularly her embrace of vintage and bohemian aesthetics.
Okay.
And Hailey Bieber is often credited with popularizing the clean girl aesthetic,
Uh-huh.
which emphasizes a minimalist and polished look.
So it's like effortless chic, but for Gen Z?
Yes.
I can see the appeal of that.
Yeah.
Are there any other interesting fashion subcultures emerging?
Well, the article hints at the possibility of tradwife core gaining traction among some teens,
Okay.
with its focus on traditional values and vintage fashion.
Okay.
It will be interesting to see if that trend takes hold.
It's fascinating to see how fashion reflects broader cultural shifts.
It is.
Okay, before we wrap up part one of our deep dive,
Okay.
we need to talk about school. After all, that's a huge part of teens' lives.
Absolutely. And the article suggests that in 2025, the focus will be on finding that elusive school life balance. Teens are increasingly prioritizing sleep, hydration, and taking breaks
Right.
to manage their stress levels and overall well-being.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really.
I know I could definitely use some tips on work-life balance.
Me too.
But the article also mentions that if teens don't find that balance,
Right.
stress, anxiety, and loneliness can become real problems.
They can.
Yeah.
It highlights the importance of open communication between teens and their parents,
Yeah.
educators,
Yeah.
and even mental health professionals.
Right. It takes a village.
It does, it does.
And what's really interesting is that career exploration is starting earlier than ever before, even in middle school.
Wow.
I know.
That's early.
I mean, it makes sense considering all the changes happening in the workplace
Right.
with AI and other technological advancements. They need to start thinking about their future paths sooner rather than later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to wrap up our exploration of teen trends,
Okay.
let's not forget about pop culture.
Yes, spill the tea.
Okay, so Sabrina Carpenter is one to watch, predicted to have an even bigger year in 2025.
Okay.
And of course, Billie Eilish, Gracie Abrams, and Lana Del Rey will continue to be popular with the teen set.
Okay.
And the article mentions that anime is going to be even bigger in 2025.
Yeah.
Games, TV, live events, it's taking over.
It really is, and I'm here for it.
Me too, me too.
Anime is becoming a global phenomenon,
It is.
and its influence is expanding beyond just entertainment.
Right.
It's a fascinating example of how cultural trends can transcend geographical boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a wrap on teen trends for now.
Okay.
But before we jump into those goal-setting strategies, I think we need a quick break.
Okay.
Join us in part 2 as we delve deeper into the implications of all these trends
Okay.
and what they mean for you.
Welcome back.
I am so ready to dig a little deeper into some of those workplace trends we touched on,
Yes.
especially that whole idea of AI becoming such a major player.
Right. It's really interesting.
It's honestly a bit mind-blowing to think about how AI could change everything,
Yeah.
from the types of jobs we have to how companies are run.
Yeah.
Where do we even start with all this?
Well, that Forbes article made a point that stuck with me.
Okay.
It's not enough for companies to just implement AI.
Right.
What's more important is creating a culture of experimentation and learning around it.
Okay.
Imagine a workplace where employees at all levels are encouraged to explore AI tools
Yeah.
and discover how they can be applied to their specific roles.
That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's almost like democratizing AI within an organization,
Yes,
instead of it being this mysterious thing that only a few people understand.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it could lead to some incredible innovations.
Like what?
Think about marketing teams using AI to personalize campaigns based on customer data,
Okay.
or sales teams leveraging AI to identify high potential leads
Right.
and automate outreach.
Yeah.
The possibilities are vast.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah,
But wouldn't this require a massive investment in training and development?
it would.
I mean, not everyone is a data scientist.
You're absolutely right, and that's where companies need to step up.
Okay.
It's not just about teaching people how to code or use specific software.
Right.
It's about equipping them with the broader skills to thrive in an AI-driven world.
So things like
Yeah.
critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, those human skills that AI can't replicate.
Exactly.
Really?
Those are the skills that will become even more valuable
Mm.
as AI takes on more routine tasks.
So true.
And it's not just individual employees who need to adapt, it's
Right.
leaders as well.
Oh, okay.
The article talks about the need for a shift in leadership mindset.
What does that look like? How do you lead in an AI-powered workplace?
Well, imagine a leader who is comfortable working alongside AI systems,
Okay.
understanding their capabilities and limitations.
Mm-hmm.
They use AI to gather insights, analyze data,
Okay.
and inform their decisions.
Right.
But they don't blindly follow its recommendations.
Right.
They still rely on their human intuition, ethical judgment,
Mm.
and empathy to guide their actions.
It's almost like AI becomes a partner in leadership,
Yes.
not just a tool.
a partner.
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
But I can also see how it could be challenging for some leaders to adapt.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It requires a willingness to embrace new ways of thinking and working.
Right.
And let's not forget the human element.
Yes.
The article highlights the importance of maintaining employee engagement in
Mm.
this rapidly evolving workplace.
Okay.
How do you keep people motivated and feeling valued when their jobs are constantly changing because of AI?
That's a really good question. What are some strategies companies can use to address that challenge?
Well, the article emphasizes the importance of building a strong company culture, even more so than before.
Okay.
This means investing in employee well-being,
Mm-hmm.
offering opportunities for professional development,
Right.
and fostering a sense of purpose and belonging.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment where people feel supported and empowered,
Mm.
even in the face of technological disruption.
So it's not just about implementing AI.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that the human element remains at the forefront.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Okay, I'm ready to switch gears and talk about those fascinating teen trends.
Okay, let's do it.
What stood out to you as particularly interesting or surprising?
Well, I have to admit, that whole trend of teenagers ditching their smartphones
Yeah.
for dumb phones really caught my attention.
I know it seems so counterintuitive in this hyper-connected world.
It does.
What do you think is driving that shift?
I think it speaks to a growing awareness, even among young people,
Yeah.
of the potential downsides of constant digital connectivity.
Okay.
They're experiencing burnout,
Mhm.
anxiety,
Yeah.
and feeling pressured to constantly curate their online lives.
Right.
So some of them are choosing to step back and prioritize real-world experiences and interactions.
It's like a digital detox movement, but for teenagers.
Exactly.
But I wonder, do they ever feel like they're missing out by not being constantly connected?
I'm sure there are times when they do,
Yeah.
but I think they're also discovering the benefits of disconnecting.
Okay.
You're rediscovering the joy of face-to-face conversations,
Mhm.
being present in the moment,
Yeah.
and engaging with the world around them without the distraction of a smartphone.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really.
It is.
Even if we don't ditch our smartphones entirely.
Right.
Maybe we could all benefit from setting some boundaries
Yes.
and creating more tech-free zones
Yeah.
in our lives. It's interesting to note that this trend towards digital minimalism exists alongside the continued rise of online platforms like TikTok Shop.
Right.
The article predicts that TikTok Shop is going to become a major player in e-commerce,
It is.
offering teens a seamless way to buy anything they see while scrolling through their feeds.
Yeah, while scrolling.
So on one hand, They're craving simplicity and real-world experiences.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
Right.
they're embracing the convenience and instant gratification of online shopping.
Yes.
It's a fascinating paradox.
It is.
Yeah.
And it highlights the complexity of this generation.
Right?
They're navigating a world that's constantly evolving, both online and offline.
And speaking of navigating the online world,
Yes.
we can't ignore the potential for scams and other risks.
Right. And the article stresses the importance of parental awareness and education regarding online safety.
Absolutely.
With scams becoming increasingly sophisticated,
Yeah.
it's more important than ever to equip teens with the critical thinking skills.
Right.
And knowledge to protect themselves?
It's not about sheltering them from the online world entirely,
No.
but about empowering them to make informed choices
Right.
and engage with it safely and responsibly.
Exactly.
And it's also about staying ahead of the curve,
Mhm.
because as we've seen with the potential TikTok ban,
Right.
the digital landscape is constantly shifting.
It
New
is.
platforms and trends are emerging all the time.
All the time.
And it's crucial for both teens and adults to stay informed and adaptable.
Very much so.
Okay, so we've talked about teens seeking balance both online and offline, and embracing the power of e-commerce.
Yeah.
What about their overall well-being?
Right.
The articles seem to suggest that they're more stressed than ever,
Yeah.
but also more proactive about taking care of themselves.
Yes, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
It is.
On one hand, they're facing intense pressures
Mhm.
from social media, academics, and even global issues like climate change.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they're more open about discussing mental health and seeking out tools and resources to manage their stress.
That openness is encouraging.
It is.
It seems like they're breaking down some of the stigma around mental health that previous generations may have struggled with.
I think so too.
And it's reflected in the popularity of mindfulness apps,
Yes.
self-care routines,
Uh-huh.
and even the trend of gamifying self-care that we talked about earlier.
Right.
They're experimenting with different approaches to find what works for them.
They are.
It's like they're taking charge of their well-being in a way that previous generations maybe didn't feel empowered to do.
Yeah, I agree.
And it sounds like this focus on self-care extends to their school lives as well.
Absolutely.
The article highlighted the growing emphasis on finding that school life balance.
Right.
Teens are recognizing the importance of getting enough sleep,
Mm-hmm.
staying hydrated, taking breaks, and engaging in activities that bring them joy.
Exactly. It's a good reminder for all of us, really.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life
Oh.
and forget to prioritize our own well-being.
So true.
But the article also cautioned that if teens don't find that balance,
Right.
stress, anxiety, and loneliness can become significant problems.
That's right. It's about finding that sweet spot where they're challenging themselves academically
Yes.
and pursuing their passions,
Mm-hmm.
but also prioritizing their mental and physical health
Exactly.
and having open communication with their parents,
Yes.
teachers, and even mental health professionals to get support when they need it.
Right. It's about creating a culture where it's okay to ask for help and prioritize well-being.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's interesting that this conversation about well-being ties in so nicely with the goal-setting strategies we're going to discuss next.
Oh, yeah.
After all, setting realistic and achievable goals is a crucial part of maintaining a healthy work-life balance
Right.
and pursuing personal growth.
That's a great point. Whether we're talking about career aspirations,
Mhm.
personal development,
Yes.
or just managing our daily lives more
Yeah.
effectively.
Right.
Having a plan and a system for achieving our goals can make a huge difference.
It can.
So are you ready to dive into those goal-setting articles?
I am. I'm eager to explore those strategies and see how we can apply them to our own lives. Okay, we've explored the future of work.
With AI looming large.
Right, and we've unpacked the complex world of teen trends in 2025.
It has been a lot.
It has.
Now it's time to bring it all together.
You're right, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
And as we head into a new year,
Mm-hmm.
the question becomes, what does all of this mean for you?
Exactly. How can we actually use these insights to make smarter choices?
Yeah.
Navigate the changes ahead.
Right.
And maybe even achieve some of those ambitious goals we've been setting for ourselves.
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways from all of these articles
Yeah.
is the sheer pace of change we're facing.
Right.
2025 isn't just another year, it's a tipping point.
It's like everything is in fast forward now.
Precisely. And that means adaptability is no longer a nice-to-have skill, it's essential for survival,
Whoa.
both professionally and personally.
Okay.
We need to be comfortable with uncertainty, willing to learn new things, and able to pivot quickly when circumstances demand it.
So it's not just about keeping up with the latest technology.
No.
It's about having a mindset that embraces change
Yes,
and sees opportunity in disruption.
exactly. And that brings us to another key theme that emerged from our deep dive.
Okay.
The importance of human connection and well-being.
Mhm.
Even in a world increasingly driven by AI and automation.
Right.
We can't forget that ultimately it's our human qualities, empathy, creativity, resilience, that will set us apart.
That really resonated with me.
Yeah,
We talked about how companies need to prioritize building a strong culture
right.
where employees feel valued and engaged
Right.
even as their roles evolve with AI.
Yes.
But that same principle applies to our personal lives too, right?
Absolutely. We need to prioritize our own well-being, set healthy boundaries, and nurture those meaningful relationships that give us strength and support.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, all the technological advancements in the world won't matter if we're burned out,
Right.
isolated and disconnected from what truly matters.
So true.
And, this conversation about adaptability and well-being leads perfectly into those goal-setting strategies we discussed earlier.
Well, yeah.
After all, setting goals isn't just about achieving some external outcome.
Right?
It's about designing a life that aligns with our values
Mm-hmm.
and allows us to thrive, even amidst change.
That's a great point. And remember those articles we explored?
Yes.
They offered some really practical advice for making sure those goals actually stick.
Right, like that SMART framework,
Yeah.
gamifying our goals.
Yes.
The new old stop and go method. Those are all tools we can use
Mm-hmm.
to create a roadmap for personal and professional growth.
I love the idea of gamifying our goals,
I did too.
turning those everyday tasks and habits into quests, and rewarding ourselves with loot.
It sounds fun.
It does.
It's a fun way to stay motivated
Yeah.
and make progress without getting overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of accountability.
No, don't.
Whether it's finding a mentor, joining a group, or simply sharing your goals with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
having that external support can make a huge difference in your ability to stay on track.
It can be so helpful.
It's like having a cheerleader in your corner, reminding you why you started and encouraging you to keep going even when it gets tough.
Exactly.
And remember, flexibility is key.
Yes, it is.
Life rarely goes according to plan, so don't be afraid to adjust your goals as needed.
You're right.
The important thing is to keep moving forward, even if it's in a slightly different direction than you originally intended.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we look ahead to 2025,
Yes.
it seems like the common thread is this. Embrace adaptability,
Mm-hmm.
prioritize well-being,
Yes.
and approach your goals with intention and a healthy dose of flexibility.
I think that's a fantastic summary.
It does feel like we've covered everything.
And ultimately, it's about recognizing that you have the power to shape your future,
Yeah.
even in the face of rapid change and uncertainty.
Absolutely.
These trends are predictions,
Right.
possibilities,
Yeah.
but what you choose to do with them is entirely up to you.
That's such an empowering thought.
It is.
We've explored the trends.
Mhm.
We have unpacked the strategies.
Yes.
Now it's up to each of us to decide how we want to navigate the year ahead
Right.
and make those trends work for us.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
That's important.
Seek out support, connect with others who share your values, and never stop learning and growing.
Yes.
That's the real key to thriving in a world that's constantly evolving.
That's a perfect note to end on.
I think so.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the trends shaping 2025.
It's been a pleasure.
Here's to a year of positive change, personal growth, and making those goals a reality.
Cheers to that.
I can't wait to see what the future holds.